Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zoom Training and Support for Instructional Aides. I am Patty Mendoza, and I am going to walk you through this training. As we go through each slide, I will ask you to do one thing. I'd like for you to have a notebook and your pen ready. And as we go along the slides, even though we're working on Zoom, I want you to also look at each slide carefully. I want you to take note as to what I have on the slides, what pops out to you, what do you like, what is it that is helping you to understand better. And I want you to think why I would have put that there. So each slide is a learning opportunity as well. All right, let's get started. And I will begin here with our first slide. And notice, there's going to be something going on here. It's going to be a little loud, but we're going to. This is my welcome slide. In my welcome slide, I'm asking everyone to mute their microphone, be seated quietly, and have your materials. I have a timer here, and I usually begin this 5 minutes before I'm on with you. There is a game. Please, I want to make sure I get to know each of you. And for training purposes, let's go ahead and move on with Zoom Training and Support. We are going to pretend that you had 5 minutes to get ready and wait, and now we are on. We're going to be looking at these areas that are going to support our work around Zoom and online learning. We're going to look at locations, supplies, time, microphone and video, your signals, your teacher support, and your breakout rooms. If we have time today, we will continue with that as well. So this is our goal in our learning process. Before we begin, I want us to look carefully at the Zoom features. Notice that this toolbar here at the top says Zoom Desktop Toolbar. This top toolbar that you see here is going to actually be an example of what your, if you're on a laptop, this might be what you are looking at. And you'll see this is your microphone. This is considered your camera. You'll be able to see, you may or may not see who's invited, but definitely you're going to see who are the participants here. You'll see a number of how many people are on. You'll see a green button, and this is only turned on and allowed when the teacher allows you. Right now, I'm the presenter or the teacher, and I'm the one who's sharing my screen. This chat box, this chat icon we're going to be using this a lot, and that is the chat box, and we'll go in through that. You may not have this, this is a record button, but I would definitely be using this as a way for me to record my lessons or meetings when I'm on a Zoom call. And then, of course, I have a little reaction, and there might be other things here. This side here, it says leave meeting. If you click on that, you will leave the meeting. If you are watching this on a cell phone, you might have something more similar to this. On any kind of mobile device, this is what your Zoom features would show. And in this case, you would see that your camera is off, and to unclick it so that you can see, so the presenter can see you, would be white. And then there is a more button here, and there's one here as well on the top on your Zoom toolbar, but the more button will allow you to see more of the icons that is already available on the one that's on the desktop. All right, so at this time, I want you to be looking carefully at those things. Pause at any time. I want you to think about okay, I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna look for the mute, my microphone, and I want you to see where it's at. And that would need for you to move your cursor around so that it would pop up. Excuse me. So that is just something I want you to pause and just write your notes and see where they're located on your screen. So we're going to begin here with the first area is location. So when you are creating your workspace, it is really important more now than ever that we're not in the classroom, that you create your workspace as well. It's very important. We're asking our students and parents to help with creating a workspace for them. And we need to make sure that we are doing that as well. First, you'll need to make sure that you do have a quiet and comfortable area. You might be sitting for a couple of hours, so definitely you want it to be a place where you feel most comfortable. And you want to avoid anybody that would be able to walk behind you. Your background is very important. And so if you could have like in these pictures you see to your right, you see that each student or each participant in the picture, there is a wall directly behind them. Some are even closer to the wall, and some might have a door behind them, but that could also lead to make sure that you have a sign that says you're working so no one opens the door, because that would be something that we would all see. You also want to block any distractions. So, whatever you have behind you, it represents, who you are. And we definitely love family pictures, but if you don't want that, you need to remove that. If you just want a cornered area or maybe a plant or something, you choose what is best for you. Some of us might be working in the kitchen, and think about if that is the best place for you, if there's going to be a lot of distractions, if other people will be going into the kitchen and making noise or maybe going in and out. We want your family also to feel comfortable walking in your home. And the idea of staying in one spot is really important. Some of our students like to walk around, and sometimes we do too, but we need to not walk with our device while our camera is on. So make sure that you stay in one spot so that we're not distracted. You will need a desk or a table because you'll be needing to take notes and writing, and you're going to need some tools which we will go over. And then this idea of number 6 is well-lit room. Let me share what I mean by this, all these examples. Okay, if you can see my screen at the bottom, I am in an office and behind me is just a wall. If I moved my laptop to an area, you can see I could be facing this way, but this is where my family walks back and forth from the living area to the kitchen, and that would be a distraction from my presentation. The other thing, again, with the idea of walking and moving, this is very distracting. You don't want that. And then finally, I wanted to show you what I mean by well-lit room. Many times I am presenting and I see that people who do have their camera on, they tend not to show, they have bad lighting and I can't see their face. So if I turn off lights and you're working in an area that is not well lit, this is what I shall see. Now, if this is something that you want to do, you can always have a black screen if you need it, but the well-lit room is much more professional and it can be able to see you better. So, well-lit room is very important. And I actually have a ring light, but that does not mean that you need a ring light as well. I did purchase this on Amazon for under $30, but you do not have to buy that. A simple lamp, a table lamp, if you want to put it behind your computer, and it is behind me and it's shedding light, because this office doesn't have any kind of windows, so I really rely on the light. All right, everyone. So this would be a place where I would definitely want you to stop and think about your area. So take a pause right now. And I want you to look at your area. Is your think about where your workspace is at. And if you were with me right now, I would want you to type your answer in the chat box, which we're going to be going over together. All right. Very good. So now that you have looked into your work area and think notes if everything is 100% ready to go, ready to move on. All right. And as I said, if you were with me, I would definitely say, everyone, this is the time for you To locate your chat box, like I've shared with you on your toolbar, right here on the chat box, click on it, and then you will see that you have an opportunity to go ahead and write something there. Okay. Take that, and we will pause right there. Okay, so now I want to show you on my Zoom screen where that chat box would be. When you are on the Zoom, you shall see that this is my toolbar. My toolbar might look very different than yours because I am a presenter right now. I'm facilitating this meeting, this training. But you do have a chat box. And what you want to be able to do is see mine is right here on the bottom. If I click on that, it shows up here on the side to my right. And when I show to my right, hold on, let me go ahead and close that up. When you see here, now this is the place where you're going to type. So if I asked you, where is your workspace? I would want you to, let me go back again so you can see that. You might have a full screen on yours and you're like, where is it? Well, you look for your chat box because it's not on the right. Remember, it should be on your right. A chat box opens. See where it says to everyone right here below? I'm going to type my workspace is in, some people might say my kitchen or my office or my bedroom or my living room. So that is what I did. I typed it and then I hit return to send it. And this is now available for everyone to read, and that's why it says to everyone. If there was another participant here, I could send a private message, but you want to make sure you can always send the your teacher or the host, whoever's leading the meeting, a private message. You would just have to change the link to private. All right. So that is how you send it in the chat box. Let's continue our work. All right. Good job on locating your chat box. So let's talk about your work supplies. It is really important for you to have some work supplies with you. So you want to make sure that you have, as we ask our students to, you need to have your laptop or an iPad. Some people have phones as well, but you might be using a phone to participate in a meeting, but you can. What normally on a work day, you're going to have a laptop or an iPad, and make sure that it is fully charged. You must charge and not wait till the last minute, or you might run late and not be able to participate and may not be able to participate in your meeting on time. You also want to make sure that you get on to your meetings or your class that you're working with, a teacher. You want to make sure that you have strong Wi-Fi connection. And your icon would look somewhat like this. Mine is on the top right as well. And I have at the very, very top where my charge just says 100%, and right next to it is my Wi-Fi. So I know for sure that I have definitely enough support in that area. And again, right, do that right before. You're going to still need some other resources, even though we're working from our homes. You definitely need some school supplies, some work supplies. You will definitely want your notebook, pencils, markers, pens, and crayons. You really want to be prepared with that, just like I asked you today. And you'll be taking notes. You'll be supporting teachers, finding, listening carefully to maybe students' needs, and you'll need a place for that. Another thing that you might want to consider, if your teacher has a whiteboard that she's using and wants students to use it, then I definitely suggest that you do as well. You may request one if your teacher's using one. And if you don't want to, you want it right away, there is an easy way to use it. You can grab a piece of white paper and a large Ziploc bag, and it works just as well as if you'd like that. The Ziploc bag allows you to write on. The other thing that you might use, some people have been using earphones. This allows people to just focus on the conversation, what's happening online, and it does block out your own noise. I don't use one, but there are many available. Many of our students are using. Some are just earphones that you come with your cell phone. Others have a speaker to it. No one is required to purchase any of these items, again, that I'm sharing with you, especially the earphones. But I would definitely, if you notice, if anyone else has been given the go and passing them out, well, then we'll make sure we get one to everyone. But at this time, no one is required to purchase anything like that, ever. You might also have some class books that may have been given to you. Your teacher may have said, take this home. These are the books we'll be using. And then the other is you will be using teacher-created materials that are online. And that would definitely be in your G Suite. And you want to make sure that you have access to them and that you know how to use them. And I can teach you that as well in another presentation. All right. So this is your moment. I want you to stop. I want you to think about where your chat box is. And I would like for you to tell me how many of those items you have. Or type a number of the items that you have in your chat box. And that would be navigate, look for it on your toolbar, and type it in. And this would be, so maybe I have all 8 items. And I am typing as if going. So that would be mine. Of course, I am the only one participating, but I would definitely have here a list of everyone else who's been submitting any kind of answers if I had many more participants in this. It's just me, myself, and I. We're going to continue. All right. And get in present mode. And that was our supplies. The other thing I want you to think about is our time. We are definitely on different time schedules, and knowing your class schedule is really important. And also knowing that you might have new students that come into your class. You will need to be able to prepare that for them and explain to them that process. To help them navigate those first few days is really important. So creating some kind of schedule and maybe some images would be helpful. And practicing talking to them about where to go. So definitely be a great benefit if you can support a teacher by talking to students about their class schedule if they're coming in first for the first time. So right now I want you to take some time. I want you to remember your schedule. And at this time, I would ask you to write on your own notepad what your schedule is. And if you were in front of me, I would definitely ask you to show me your notes. All right, let's get back here to Zoom features. Again, we're going to look at some of these icons. We're going to be working around them, and I want you to feel very comfortable. Again, here's the same one that I shared earlier. All right, let's specifically look at our microphone and our video. So at the top, I've highlighted in yellow where your microphone and your video icons are. When you enter a Zoom meeting, you might already be muted, but means that your speaker might already be off, and your speaker might look like what you see here at the bottom as I have a red bar going across the microphone. You might enter a Zoom and it might be on, and that would look like something like that. Now the icon, the red, would be open, and that means that you are able to speak, and we can hear not only you, but your background noise. If you're wearing earphones, we don't get to hear, but definitely when that microphone is on, we not only hear your conversation, but we can hear the surrounding area where you work in. When you come into a Zoom meeting, your video camera should be on, and we want that on, especially when you're in a time where you're learning environment. But many of our students, we can't make anyone turn it on. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. wanted to share with you what that would actually mean. So I work with a lot of adults as well as students. So I ask everyone to come in the first thing, and I do ask for everyone to turn off their mic when they're coming in. But that could be also that, that's just a management piece. You might want to have it open so that students could just say, good morning, good morning. So that would be one way that you can begin a class. You might ask your participants to have your camera on just so I could see good morning and then turn it off. That could be. But again, I wanted to share with you the reasons why maybe people don't turn it on. Let's begin with adults. So as an adult, we might have other responsibilities at home. We might be, at that time when our meeting starts, we're probably maybe still navigating, getting things ready for the rest of the people in our home. Maybe we're preparing someone's breakfast, or we might be even, just tidying up last minute and we don't want anyone to see. We may not be ready ourselves. Some people don't feel, that they feel prepared, enough. Whatever it be, they might be shy, they have it off. But I can tell you that it is very important that we do our very best to make anyone who enters our Zoom meetings feel comfortable, which leads us back to why they would turn it on. So students might not be turning their camera on either because they're also preparing their breakfast, or they might be in their pajamas still eating breakfast, or too many people are in the home at that time and mom or someone says, not now. Again, we are not in our classroom and people still need to have their day-to-day things still happening at home. And, but if the student is, and has the right area and is, can go ahead and participate, that's fine. But if they're not turning on, that's probably because, again, all those factors might be in play, but they may not feel comfortable. So we need to provide many opportunities for our participants to come and feel comfortable. You need to be able to help create that culture in the classroom. And that's why I do share games at the beginning of each time I actually have a meeting. So I might it might be something like you're like, oh, well, this might be silly, but it's not silly. I might say, even though I said, find something that you use every day, or what's your favorite food? See, each of those things that I play, they're not fillers. I place them there so I get to know you. And when I know you, then I can design my lessons to fit my students' needs and backgrounds. The more that I get to know them and they get to know me, they're going to want to open up and turn on those cameras. They're going to feel comfortable. But if we're saying, don't do this, don't have that, don't drink water in front of me, there's too many things, then they're not ready. And it's up to you how you feel. Like right now, I do have my water with me. And if we were in a meeting, I might have a coffee with me. And if you're in one of my meetings, I would say, everyone, let's grab our coffee and let's have a toast. Let's drink, to a good day. And that would work because I would want you to feel comfortable, to know that you are not going to be upset if you're taking a sip of coffee as you are working with me. And the more that I get to know you and see what common things we have, then it'll be something that I can remember and use, like I said earlier. My notebook actually has notes of people that I've had in meetings, and I write down their names. And I write things that I know about them as I'm worked with them. Little things like, and I just keep a little list, something with a date, and this is going to help me even within the conversation of the lesson, help me with maybe a book that will remind me of that. So it is important that you have these opportunities, and that you keep notes too, so you get to know your students more and more each time. So again, it all goes back to the camera. Why am I not comfortable? Well, that might be factors, again, that I'm just not comfortable with what's happening in my home. Or it could just be like, I just don't feel comfortable sharing my face right now with you. I don't feel, I'm shy. I don't know. So we need to give each other grace and time. All right. Now, if you were with me, we would be practicing at this point, turning on and off your camera. I would definitely, if you were with me, I would have you all turn on your microphone and say hello. Or I might have everyone turn off your camera and then turn it back on, but with the speaker still on, so that you could have time to get comfortable also with these tools. As we move, we're definitely going to continue looking at nonverbal communication. These are the signals. Now, Zoom has many cool features here that we can use, but I want us to go back. Well, let me go. Zoom, we definitely are going to be able to use some features here in Zoom. But right now, I've highlighted 3 areas that we would be using to have these nonverbal communications. At the top in yellow, you'll see that I highlighted the video. I've highlighted this area that says participants and chat, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So right now, on the middle of my screen, you're going to see some 4 symbols of communication that I believe needs to be established immediately with your students. Let me go ahead and shrink this just up a bit, and let me move this over so that we can see each other. Okay, so as we are, if we were together, again, I'd want us to practice because things happen, and we want to get some quick interaction, and also we want to check for understanding. So a simple thumbs up is really important to have. And you could just say, students, this represents yes, I got it, thumbs up. No, I don't have it. And then, of course, the hand up, but we want to teach them not to have it this way. We want to, if you're going to, you want them to make sure that they cover the screen enough where you could see something different happening. So, a simple wave would definitely alert the teacher or you that a student needs something. Okay. There's also another way that you can use that's nonverbal, and it's not using any tools right now. And you can use paper, you can use markers. I'm going to show you what my markers, or maybe this would be something simple. So you might want to use color codes for, yes, I'm ready to move on, green for go. Can we repeat that, please? Slow down a bit. And then definitely, I'm stuck. I need help. I'm not ready to move on. Again, you can use markers, you can use paper, sticky notes, and then you could even ask students to, get a piece of paper and do some coloring if that's something as simple as that, or just so that you have that as well. And these, again, are just non-verbal cues that you can use that have nothing to do with technology, but you do need to have the camera on. This is when a student would need to have a camera on. Okay? And then I would definitely have you show me. Now, as we move into the next phase, let me go ahead and move this. The Zoom does have a place for us to also communicate, and that's the chat box. And you've been practicing with a chat box on the right side. You found it, you've used it, and this is another place. This is where students can type. Okay, and definitely want you to practice that. But let's look at this. See, Zoom also has these really cool features that are embedded in and available in Zoom and available for all your students. And the place, the place where you want to look for that is in the participant icon. So Do you see this icon here with the people? Here on the top of my toolbar, you're going to notice that I do have it. Let me go ahead so you can see closer. I have it circled here. So you'll find your Zoom toolbar with the participants. When you click on participants, you're going to be able to see who's the names of actually who's in the meeting with you. And when you see that, then these things here at the bottom will pop up. This blue hand up the far left where it says raise hand, that means that a student can actually click on this, and then you see this right, if you see, here's that hand. Do you see this? This here is if a student wants my attention, and then I would definitely be able to see this here. I can see this, and I can see who's actually asking for that support. Now, this is really important here. There's other tools, excuse me. Go back. You're going to notice that there's also a yes button. So instead of thumbs up or nodding head or typing, students can just type, students can just type yes, or students can just click yes. See? These buttons are just for clicking. If they're asked a question and they don't know the answer, there it is. There's a no button. This one here says go slower. I can actually let my teacher know, hey, please slow down. Please, it's going too fast for me. You can use this with any presentations as well. If that ready and they're like, you know what, I'm ready to move on, we can alert the teacher to go faster. And then there's even this more button here. And here's more of those thumbs up, thumbs down, clap. This means you're clapping, like applause, applause. This would be time for, geez, I think it's time for the coffee break or lunch break. And then, of course, maybe an icon for can we check the time. All these features are also available to you and to all our students. And the only way to find it is if you have it, if you click on the participants icon. And then it opens up like I shared with you, and you will see that it pops up after all the names, and this will pop up. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's look at my Zoom feature here and see if we can see that. Here's my participant button here. Let me move this closer. And my bar showing at the bottom. So participants, I could be able to see who's here. I would be listed all the names. And look, there it is. There are those buttons, the yes, the no. Yes, I get it. No, I don't get it. Please go slower, go faster. You know what? I thumbs up. I do understand. No, I don't understand. Clap. That was amazing, Miss Mendoza. And then, whew, I think it's time for some coffee. And how long is this? I think we're almost done. Watch your time. So all this, and then I would be able to see all those key. This is what I see as the host, the presenter on the screen. And also you will be able to see it. That way you can actually help your teachers also when someone has their hand raised or question or any of those icons. It will also be available for you to see as well. Okay. Great. Great job. You're doing a great job. Let's continue. All right. So we are still continuing to support our teachers and our students during this time, even though we're now in the classroom. It's just going to look a little different. So here's some suggestions I have for you. Your job. What could you do? Well, one of the things that's definitely important is I need someone to be able, you to be able to monitor who is entering the class, leaving the class. You could be monitoring any kind of, maybe there's something else that needs to be checked up. So your eyes do need to be on the screen, and it would help if you had your presentation, not only the way you see mine. Right now, mine is in full screen. A tip on how you can see who and where are these people you would definitely escape. And what I did was, let me go back again. There is an escape button on your laptop on your far left. On your far left on your keyboard, look down, look where all your letters are, look where your numbers are, and at the very top left and almost on top of the number 1, there's an escape, ESC. Tap that. So when you have that, now you can still see my presentation, and I still want to be able to, I can just, one tip, if it was still like this, it's just a matter of moving. How am I doing this? I'm actually using my 2 fingers, or to grab a piece of the of my slides here, my work, and I can move it around. And then here I can minimize this, and I can definitely make it where I can see everyone. And so this is how you can be able to still watch the teacher or watch the students in the full class view, and then still see the presentation if needed. And that's how you're going to do this split screen. You want to be able to do both. Now, if I had more participants, I would be able to have another option of like how to see. I don't have this right now. I would have to get someone else to enter. But there's a waffle cone. There's a place for you to be able to navigate through that, and you can share that with, and you can navigate how many you might want to see. 1 box would equal 1 person you see. 2 boxes would be 2 people you see. Then there's one where it's a row, and then it opens up, and then by stretching this is to see how many people you can see at the same time. So again, it is really important for you to practice moving your screen so that you can see your students and then still see the teacher's presentation, just like how you see my screen right now. Okay? I don't mind if you do this. I don't mind if you have me like this, and I don't think your teacher will too. This is how we work, and asking teachers to do this too. So sometimes they don't have a wonderful you in the class, and this is how they can be able to see everyone as well. Go back to this. What else do we see? So again, monitoring who's coming in and who's coming out. And I wrote here, don't speak up and say, hey, Miss Mendoza, so-and-so just left, or hey, Miss Mendoza, so-and-so just joined. Because the teacher does have a button that she could, or he could see as alerted. And at the end, she could also get a report. But it is helpful for you to know, might be a good idea, maybe that you already have exchanged your phone numbers for a quick text, or you can send a private message on the Zoom. All right, let's move on. What else could our work entail? Again, we talked about paying close attention to the chat box for students' messages. It is so important for you to be able to see this. I know that as a presenter, it's really hard for me to always see if people are asking questions if I'm presenting. But you would be definitely very helpful to me if you can see when there is a question and a good time for me to stop. One good way to navigate through this is definitely if you know the answer, like what time is this class end? You can type that in the chat box quickly. If it's a question about a process, something you're learning, well, that would be maybe something you need to wait. You can write that down maybe so that you know who doesn't understand something, but it's not the time for you to answer that at this point. It is a good time for you to wait and see how long the teacher has been talking. And at this point, it is very important for teachers to know and remind them that after 3 minutes of talking, there must be then that 1 minute of student interacting. Let me show you what I mean. For each slide, if you were in this presentation with me, there would be something that I'm actually having you do. These are the very important, there would be 5. For every 3 minutes that I speak, I'm going to be done, and I'm going to have you, as my students or my participants, I have you click something, type something, move, speak, or create. Those are my options, and that is really important. Another way to think about it is in the presentation itself. You will be having one slide where you might have there's talking, and then the other side, someone doing something. So for instance, in this slide, you would be listening to me. Actually, we can even go further. In this slide, I definitely would have already had you typing something. I would have everyone put that game idea that I had there. I'd say, everyone, write your answer. What is that one thing you can't live without? And I'd have you already type it in the chat box. And then at the end, I might call on someone and say, oh, Victor, share with us what you wrote. And then I have someone speak. I talk, and then I'd have you do something. And in this case, these little pictures are actually buttons that you can click on. And I would have you practice clicking back and forth through that. Again, we do something, and then I would definitely have you do a little more like we did. We have something we want them to, in this case, you see right away, I have you answer again something in the chat box. I teach, and this one is actually interactive. And if you were in my Zoom meeting, I actually did a live poll at this point, but you are learning away from me right now. But I have designed that I said something here. It was interactive. You remember you saw these parts moving. Maybe I have my students moving them, or I could ask them what to move. And then again, I would have a poll of like what you actually, like I had you, how many items do you have? And you put it in the chat box. But I also, like I said, I would use a Zoom poll for this as well. Again, I asked you to think about something, then I asked you to write something. Again, each time I share something with you, I want you to either click, type, talk, speak, move, or create. So you were creating maybe the idea of right now, let's see, everyone, I want everyone to write the number 5. Please, everyone write the number 5 on a piece of paper. And so then I'd say, all right, real quick, write the 5 things that are really important that a student should do after 3 minutes of teacher talk. What are the 5 things a student should be doing? So then you write it, and I'd say, show me. And just something, so you created real quick, something, you wrote it, so that's what I mean. Click, type, talk, move, create. Now move could do something like, remember I said, everyone grab your mug and let's say cheers to, a good day. It could be a time for stretching, and we want you to do those. Or there's other things that are interactive. I'm actually having you do a lot of movement as well. So it is really important for you to think about that when you're designing that work. And that is why it's really important for you to be there for the teacher to remind them it's been 3 minutes or it's been a slide, let's go ahead. And it's something as simple as I will be sharing what students are checking in with, what are they writing, and then go ahead and share that 3-to-1 idea with your teachers. Another thing that we can do is definitely be prepared to model the teacher. Now more than ever, you're still going to be doing that. I might ask you to read something with me or role play. So you're still going to need your camera and your speaker on. You're definitely going to have your links to documents ready to go. So if teacher is sending things out to Google Classroom, or he's emailing them to you, please have those documents ready. You have them ready. Maybe you printed them. Maybe you just have them on your desktop. Maybe you're reading them. Maybe it's just a great way when students say, I don't have that or I needed that, and you can definitely just share the link with your teacher, and that would be me teaching you how to do that if you haven't done it already. Here's another idea. You should have something ready to go in case the teacher gets disconnected. It is so important for you to continue the learning. If we had started class and I'm 10 minutes into the class and all of a sudden something happens, my dog comes and drops my laptop. Oh my goodness, scary. And my instructional aid, you are still available and working, your camera works, you can talk to our students. I would hope that you have something ready, and I wouldn't want you to go, shh, 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 shh. Wait, don't move, don't talk. We wait here for the teacher. Everybody just wait. No, I wouldn't even call a time to, 10 minutes in. You don't know. If you say, everybody go take a break, what if the teacher hops back on? What you do need to have is really ready to go and accessible, a book. Maybe have your favorite storybook ready to go. Doesn't matter what grade they're in. Kids love to know. Maybe it's a picture. Maybe you're going to share a story about family. You have to think ready to go. You can say, let me tell you a little bit about myself, something new. That would be something quick on the fly. But you can be prepared, definitely with something, an engagement tool ready to go. And then it would be a great time that you knew your teacher's text, that you can send their phone number, text and say, are you going to be long? I'm going to read a book to them. What else would you like me to do? This is something why you might this is something you should consider about exchanging your phone numbers right now. It is very different than being in the classroom where you can just talk to the side, and the teacher still needs help. And you would be a hero at that moment, and definitely want you to continue with that process of learning. If you knew what was going on, if you knew what was next, and you knew you can co-host it, then definitely continue until the teacher's ready. But it doesn't hurt to have a book and ready to go with something to talk about. And now you know their signals, so you can get immediate feedback from your students with questions. And then finally, and I can't stress this enough, you should be practicing all the tools that students and teachers are working on now. This is definitely the time for you to be a learner and to have that growth mindset and to have patience and to try new things. It is scary, but you also have me. You can always call me and we can work together. You could, some people I've noticed have maybe someone that could help them who has more tech savvy, and you could ask them, how do I do this or that? But it is about taking time. That in a lot of time it's on your time. I know that, just to learn these tools, and it would be a great benefit to our students and teachers. All right, this is definitely one of those times where I want you to interact, and we're going to play a game. It's going to play put a finger up if you have monitored the students coming in and out of class. Put a finger up if you've already been paying attention to the chat box and noticing what students are saying, and you're working with teacher on getting those answered. You're their Vanna. Put a finger up if you have already modeled something you've assisted the teacher with. Put a finger up if you have received documents and you have already downloaded one for yourself for the very first time and you felt like, I did it. I was able to open that link and I have it ready for my work. Put a finger down if you know exactly what book or what activity you want ready to go in case something were to happen and you had to take over. And put a finger down if, oh my gosh, that's all I've been doing is, put a finger up if you've been practicing all these new tools. And give yourself an applause because you right now are doing something amazing, and that's continuing your learning. Okay. Good job, everyone. I'm so very happy that this is happening. And at this time, I am going to stop recording, and I just want to continue our learning as we go. So I know that we still have some other areas we want to work on, and definitely we will be working on how to navigate breakout rooms on Zoom. What do I do during that time? So that'll be my next video. I definitely want to have that support for you. And I do want to have you live as well as we practice. So again, I created this video for you so that you have an opportunity to learn how to navigate those right away. Those cool must-dos that we need to have. If you've noticed in my last slide, I definitely want you to feel like you can reach out to me. I do have a website. Let me do something real quick. Anything that might be a picture or a line under, it's probably going to take you somewhere. So you do have access to those. You can go to the website that I have here by clicking there. And this is also in all my emails. At the bottom of my email when I say thank you for coming or send you an email, always look and you can see the website, and this is there for you. I also have, if you want to book me, you definitely can, and this is also in my emails, you can choose a time that best fits for your work, your schedule, and you just go ahead and click on a time. They're by 15 minutes, but you can click a whole hour if you wanted to. And so that is there for you, and I get alerted, and that's it. And then I do have trainings where I will have not only where I meet you specific days or other groups, but I also have time where I meet for quick chats, quick how-tos, PD, and something that you could actually also sign up for. And I would definitely be sending that out if you want to look for that with your teacher. And at the very bottom is my email at pmendoza@rolandschools.org. Finally, I wanted to share with you, move this here so you can see me. I have some icons that we were working on, and it has been a lifesaver. I've used it since the moment we got off. And it's there for you. I just searched it, I Googled it, but I put in this presentation as well. This has definitely been a lifesaver, not only for students, but parents and teachers and principals, everyone. So it is helpful. You want to create that. I just use popsicle sticks, and that's what I did. And I'm working on, actually, another piece would definitely be what the participant one looks like, maybe a hand up, and then other tools. So these are just some tools that I thought I'd link there, or to have you thinking about how you can actually use them in your class. Again, our learning will continue, but this one, we are done. And I thank you for taking the time to learn about Zoom. And I hope that I've been able to support you through this. And remember, think about what you saw, not just the Zoom tools, but why I did everything that I did in this training and in this presentation for you. All right, everyone, so I'm going to turn off my Zoom meeting, and all I have to do is click on this button here. It's end. If I click it, I'd be done, and you would be done too. If you ever got yourself out, you can just get back in by going back to your link, and the facilitator will let you in. But I am done. I'm going to click that out, end this meeting for all, and leave that, and then I'm going to actually be done as I'm recorded here with our Zoom training. And again, thank you very much for participating in this. Bye-bye.